and I'm an ASPie, an autism spectrum person. And I'm here today to speak to you about neurodiversity. Now, what's neurodiversity? Well, most people understand diversity as a phenotypic difference between people, a difference between perceived gender, age, height, weight, that sort of thing. Neurodiversity is a difference of brain. Neurology, a difference of how one's brain works. And this can include several things. It can include an autism spectrum disorder, like I have. It can include dysgraphia, dyscalculia, dyslexia, attention deficit issues, and even some OCD issues. And why neurodiversity? Well, diversity has been accepted in terms of phenotypic differences, and I would argue that we need to accept it in terms of neurological differences as well, because we don't know what will be needed in the future. What now today may seem to be the perfectly normal and standard way of understanding things may, 10 to 15 years from now, prove to not be what's needed. As we move into the digital age, people who have different neurologies may become more useful in terms of being able to sort the massive amounts of information that come to us via computer access. So, neurodiversity and its importance. I argue against the removal of neurodiversities, including the quote-unquote curing of autism spectrum disorders, for several reasons. One, the aforementioned don't know what we need. Two, curing a neural state, to me, runs very close to eugenics. And eugenics, as we have found, is more often a catogenics, not a eugenics. That by attempting to remove what is seen as bad, we narrow our gene pool and risk putting our future into a state where we won't have what we need. We risk becoming far too much like the cheetah, which is at a genetic stopgap, or running the risk of humanity hitting the equivalent of the potato famine in Ireland, where the entirety of the crop was wiped out because they were only growing one type of potato. And therefore they did not have the diversity necessary to cope with the introduction of a disease. In terms of how I feel that this can be helped for my situation, which is the autism spectrum disorders, I would argue instead of calling them disorders, that we instead refer to them as syndromes. Because disorder implies a certain level of disease, of being curable and needing to be cured, whereas a syndrome is a collection of signs or symptoms signifying a condition, not necessarily a disordered condition or a diseased condition, but one that is a condition, a state of being. That our neurodiversity is categorizable against the standardized norm, but it is not in and of itself a negative thing. If we can all work together to bring these various conditions into an understanding with each other, to allow for the acceptance of these neurodiverse conditions of being. If you want any more information, I will be including a short list of sites that have info about this. I hope that you look at them, and that's what I had to say. Thank you.
Strange, people are strange when you're a stranger.